Hello everyone and welcome to episode 28 of the CreaLien Design podcast. My podcast where I talk about my knitting and spinning and sometimes other fiber crafts that I get up to. My name is Elina and you can find me online as CreaLien Design basically everywhere. I'm the dyer behind CreaLien Design yarns, which you can find on Etsy, and I'm CreaLien Design on Instagram and on Ravelry. And I used to upload all my projects on Ravelry, but that's a bit, that's fallen to the wayside a little bit. I'm not doing that as much as I used to. So everything I talk about in this episode will be in the description box right down there. And I try to put all the notes there, and if there's something you want to know and I didn't talk about it, then you can always ask. What else? It's been such a long time that I kind of forgot what I always say at the beginning of an episode. I'm in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and I live here with my cat Joop, who is currently snoring quite loudly. So you might be able to hear that, but I'm not sure. It's been a really long time. I just after the last time I recorded, my boyfriend took me on a little vacation for a week to Austria. That was when the corona numbers were quite low and we could still travel and everything. So that was really nice. And then I was very busy with dyeing for my advent calendars. And then Sietske from Siets aan de Maak has a new concept in the Netherlands where it's called the Hollands Handwerkgeluk, and it's basically a monthly subscription box with yarn from an indie dyer, a Dutch indie dyer, and some other goodies made by other Dutch makers. And I had the honor to dye for the first month that she did it. So that came in between and that went so well. So I had to dye a lot for that. That was a lot of work. It was fun, it was worth it, but it was a lot of work. And then I also I did a wholesale with Mirjammolenbeek.nl, and so she asked me to dye 5 Christmas colorways exclusively for her shop. So I did that and that sold out. Today I dyed the second batch that's going to her from the pre-orders. And then I, of course, also had to finish dyeing the advent calendars because I wasn't completely done. I was nearly done, but not completely. So I was so busy, and I'm not complaining. I love it. I have the best job in the world, and I'm so thankful to all of you who support me on Instagram, here on YouTube, and on Etsy, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. And I really, really love what I do, and it really makes me very happy. So thank you. I wasn't about to go on like this, but yeah, well, thank you. So I was just very, very busy, but I'm back and I do have a lot to show you, though not as much as 2 months would normally give me. But can't complain. So I do have a lot of socks again. That seems to be sort of a tradition nowadays. But I do also have some other stuff. So I'm going to start with finished objects, and I'm going to start with something different. Something you're not really used to seeing from me, but something that I'm really, really happy with. And that's this. It's a shawl, scarf, wrap thing. I wear it as a scarf that I've woven on my weaving loom. And it's huge. Like, it's still folded in half. Like, it's really, really big. See? And I love it. Just look at that. Look at the rainbow. It has horizontal rainbow and vertical rainbows. And I love it so much. Let's not put lipstick on it. I love it so much. Oh, it's on the floor now. It's huge. It's soft and warm and cozy, and I've already worn it a lot. I started this at the very beginning of the year, and I thought I had already done a lot. I had that in my mind, that I had already done a lot. And just like last month or something, I was like, oh, I'm gonna weave. It's been a long time since I did some weaving, so let's do some weaving. I felt like it. So I picked it up, and it really did look as if I've done a lot, if I had done a lot, but I wasn't sure. So I started weaving and weaving and weaving and more weaving, and I was like, is this thing ever gonna end? I mean, I knew I had cast on, how do you call that with weaving? I don't know, started like with a very long warp, but I thought I had already done so much. So I had put in a marker where I picked it up, and so like a couple of days of weaving non-stop and I finally finished it. And then I took it off the loom, and it turned out that I had only done like this much. So no wonder that it took me forever to finish the whole thing. Oh, I still did it in like 2 or 3 days, but you know, that was a lot of weaving in one go. But I'm super pleased with it. I do still have to wash it. I haven't washed it yet, but it already looks really good, I think. And I already wear it. Let me put it around my neck. So I wrap it around twice. And my head is actually too small. I have a small head. And when I wear a thing like this, like, it's just it looks ridiculous, but I don't care. I love it. I wear a hat with it, and then my red coat, and I love it. I love it so much. With all the rainbows. Look at the rainbows. Anyway, the yarn I used is this yarn. It's called Super Soft, and it's from Zeeman, which is a Dutch and Belgian store, and it has 100 grams with 282 meters, and it's a DK weight. These are the specifications. And I bought this quite a long time ago. It's color number 95. And as you can see, it was just $1.99 per ball. I'm not sure how many balls I used in total. I haven't weighed this thing. I don't know, 400 grams maybe? I still have a lot left. But it was really a stash busting project. It's 100% acrylic. Yep, 100% acrylic. But I don't care, you know. Acrylic is really, really warm. And it doesn't breathe. So, of course, it's really warm. It's like water repellent. And if you're someone who sweats easily, then this might not be for you. But I don't sweat easily up here, so it's perfectly fine. It's nice, it's warm, and I just love the colors and the fringe. Of course, I had to do fringe. Yep, really, really happy with it. It's a bit too warm to have it wrapped twice, but maybe I'll just leave it on like this until I start melting, and then I will take it off. So yeah, that was the first project. Then it's going to be like last time. it's sort of like a sock parade. So I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly. I do have also, like, the only finished objects that I have are socks. Then I do have a couple of socks works in progress. And I also have some new works in progress that are not socks at all. And then I also have some spinning. So there's a lot to go to. First up, yay! I have this super cute pair of children's socks. The daughter from my friend had her birthday in September and she turned 6. She loves rainbows. Well, which girl from that age doesn't love rainbows? And I love rainbows, and I knit these out of my own hand-dyed yarn. This was my self-striping Rainbow Fever with 15 colors, stripes, and this is my Pongo and Pretty colorway. And both are not in stock at the moment. I'm thinking about returning this colorway, putting it back in stock, but this colorway is an insane amount of work, so it will not be a regular thing. If I'm going to dye this again and put it in the shop and you want it, you better get it, because I don't think I won't be dyeing it many times. It's just because it's so much work, because these are 15 colors and they start out as 3 colors, and all the rest I blend myself, and I use my skill with 2 decimals. So it's like, you know, from one color I need 1.32 grams, and then from the other color I need 1.25 grams, and I have to weigh it for every one of these colors. Like one of these greens has yellow and blue, right? So that's a lot of weighing and measuring things out, and it's really easy to mess up. But yeah, I think it's a super fun colorway, so I'm thinking of putting it back in the shop. I'm not sure. The colors are much better on this side, which is a little bit in the shade, and this side that's still in the sun, because the sun is setting behind a building there, is blowing out. But this one has the right colors, and that's Pongo and Pretty. Oh, my sparkly base. I like how I really like this colorway, but I don't really like dyeing it. And also, every indie dyer seems to be dyeing something similar right now, so I'm like, oh, you can have it, I don't need it anymore. So yeah, really fun pair of finished socks that will be posted tomorrow. Then I have a new colorway and a new yarn base. Eee! This is my self-striping Christmas yarn for this year, and I called it Christmas cookies. And it's on my new yarn base. I now have a BFL tweed base, which is 85% BFL and 15% Donegal nap, which is tweed. Donegal nap is a nylon based tweed. It's a man-made fiber tweed. And BFL is a long staple length fiber. It's still very soft, but it's more durable. It's not as soft as merino, but it's still definitely next to skin soft. And it's just more durable. It's, you know, for socks it's perfect. If you're a bit hard on your socks and you wear holes easily, then this BFL is really the thing for you. I just love how it looks. I think the tweed just gives it this extra wintry kind of color feel to it. I don't know, I really like it. So yeah, this is my newest colorway and I really like it. Really happy with this. And then this was my other new colorway, which is rainy days, because it just feels to me like rainy days. It gives me these cozy feelings, like you're inside and drinking, you know, sitting on the sofa, watching it rain outside and just drinking your cup of tea and nice and snugly under a blanket with your knitwear. And yeah, I like it. I'm dyeing this tomorrow, so this will be in the shop this Friday. I really like this colorway as well. And then, like I told you, that I dyed some yarn for Mirjammolenbeek, Christmas special for her. And this is one of the colorways. And I like it so much. Okay, I know I say that about basically everything I make, but I really do. I really do like it. So I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself, but yeah, this is a party at Santa's, and look at those speckles. This is a shortie sock because I just used a 20 gram mini. When I dye a colorway, I often also dye a 20 gram mini skein with it, so I can test it myself. And I'm really excited about this colorway. It's not available anymore, but it might be available next year. But I think it looks super cute. It's really fun. It's very festive, I feel like. But it's more like a modern kind of Christmas. Yeah, I really like these. And then, do you remember from last episode how I spun that yarn? That rainbow yarn that I spun too fine. Like, I spun all my hand spun yarns too fine that episode. But that aside, I really wanted to cast a sock out of one of those, especially that rainbow one. And we were leaving for Austria, like 2 days after or something. I just wanted to have that, to knit a sock out of the yarn in the car. So that's what I did. Look. So this is my hand spun. The fibre was from Spin City, UK. And it was a rainbow that I spun as a 2-ply. And this is the sock that it made, and I love it. And I made it all the way up to this marker, all the way up to there. I knit in the car to Austria. So from Germany, because we first drove to my boyfriend's parents, because that was just right in the middle. So we stayed there the night, and then we drove on the next day. And my boyfriend drove, so I could knit. I drove from home to his parents the first day, and then the next day he drove from his parents to Austria. So yeah, really happy with this sock. I always get a lot of people asking me about my 2-ply handspun yarns and asking me how they are holding up, and telling me that I should better use 3-ply handspun yarn for socks. But I almost always use 2-ply handspun for socks, and that's because I prefer spinning 2-ply over 3-ply, and I prefer the looks of a 2-ply over a 3-ply in general. And I have never worn a hole in any of my handspun socks, in any of my socks. I have one pair of socks that I wore in a hole at the toe, and that was my very first pair of socks that I knit. Like, I think that's about 12 years ago now, and that hole got there like last year. So, and And I do wear my hand knit and also my hand spun socks all year round. I do wear them in the winter, of course, but I do also wear them in summer. I wear them around the house. I wear them outside. I wear them in bed. I always have my hand knit socks on my feet. And my favorite socks are my hand spun socks. So those get the most wear, and I don't wear holes in them. I have 100% merino, 100% super fine merino 2-ply socks, and I don't wear holes in them. So I'm sticking with my 2-ply because I just love it. I love spinning it more better, and I love the look of it better. I do have 3-ply socks, hand spun, and I have fiber that I plan to spin into a 3-ply hand spun, but that's just, sometimes I feel it looks better with the colors and such, but usually I prefer 2-ply, so that's why I have 2-ply socks. And I have, this is what I have left. There was the cake. That's a lot. And I waited, and I can knit 3 more socks out of this yarn. 3 more. This was exactly a quarter of the total weight. So I can have 2 pairs of full length long socks out of this one ball. Super exciting. So let's move on to works in progress. Socks. Anyone interested in seeing some socks? Okay, let me go through these quickly because you have seen them all. Boo! This was my Boo colorway, my Halloween colorway. And I am under ribbing. I don't know if you can tell. See, there's some ribbing going on. I've done 2 rounds already. But I have already put in the aftertought heel, and this is where I was the last time I showed it to you, at this marker. So I've done quite a bit. Yeah, like this. This is my Boo colorway, which is no longer available. And then I didn't lose stitches. Then I have this colorway, which is Hyacinth Bouquet, and this is where I was the last time I showed it to you. I'm halfway through the leg now. Hyacinth Bouquet, yay! Then the next work in progress is this. Oh, that's the back. I'm showing you the back. Of course I am showing you the back. And this is the front. Yay! It's another sock. This is my Rainbow Breeze colorway, which is also self-striping rainbow colorway. The pastel version of that neon one that I showed you the children's socks out of. So really love this colorway, and I'm at the ribbing now, and then I have to put in the heel. I'm loving this. If I bring back that rainbow colorway, the bright rainbow, the rainbow fever, that was difficult, then I might also bring back this one, Rainbow Breeze. I'm not sure, but I think I will, because they are so much fun. So that was it for socks, you guys. We're finally moving on to something else. Last time I spoke to you, I had spun those singles that I was going to use in a shawl project, and I cast it on just before we left to Austria because I wanted to work on it when we were there, so I wanted it to be my holiday project. And let me show you. It's the Wishes Do Come True shawl by Fibre. I will put a picture on the screen now. So that's, let me grab the yarns for a second. I got really far, and at the same time I didn't get far at all. I've been working on this for many hours actually, but the road, there are so many increases. You really increase rapidly, and I'm already at like 500 stitches per row. And I do have a lot to go, but let me show you what I have. Look at this. Okay, it's on a short needle. It's a 60 centimeter needle, which doesn't make this easy to show, but this is the top that you wear around your neck, like that. This is the middle. And then you knit this way. Like, look at that. Look at all those colors. I love it. So these are my handspun yarns. I have this merino silk that my lovely friend Natalie at Boooo dyed, and that I spun specifically for this shawl. And I have this merino nylon blend that I dyed and spun to go with this for this shawl. So this is what I have left now. With both cakes, well, because they go at the same speed. I'm about halfway through the yarn. If I would follow just the pattern, or, well, it doesn't say how long to make the shawl, how far to knit, but I've sort of counted the points here. And also, if I go by the yarn measurements that she used, I would be I believe, yeah, I'm over 2/3. I'm sorry, I'm over 2/3. So I'm not sure for how long I will continue. I will definitely make it as long as the pattern suggests, but I'm thinking that I just want to use up all of the yarn. But at the same time, if I'm not feeling it anymore, if I don't want to knit it anymore, or if I feel that that the color changes are going to be too abrupt, then I might just stop. So yeah, I really love how this feels, and I really love how this looks. I think it's absolutely beautiful. About the pattern, it's a well-written pattern. It's easy to follow. It's a really easy pattern. I did, however, make a couple of modifications. Let me put the needles here so that they don't make that noise constantly. I did make a few modifications. The first one is that the cast on section, which is from here up to here, is, the pattern describes it to knit in just one color, just one of the yarns, but I like stripes, so I just striped it right from the beginning. And I'm slipping the first stitch, or the last stitch. I'm slipping the last stitch of each row and then knitting it when you're going the other direction. So because I don't really like purl bumps on the side of my knitwear, I think I will knit this again because it's really simple knitting. It's good TV knitting. I knit a lot on this on the way back in the car from Austria, and I cannot look at what I'm doing, what I'm knitting when I'm in a car, because I get car sick. So I didn't have to look at this a lot at all. I could do it just by touch and just quick like looks occasionally. Having said that though, when I will knit this again, because I'm pretty sure I will, there's one more thing that I will change, and that is, okay, a chevron like this, that's like, this is free knowledge, this is out on the web, it's not something specifically for this pattern, but to make these V's, you do 2 decreases, and to make a point, like in an A, you do 2 increases. Now, I would have just done a double decrease, a double centered decrease, and a double increase, or 2 increases on the right side. This pattern has you do 1 decrease and 1 increase on the right side, and then an increase and a decrease on the wrong side, which makes that the right side is the same as the wrong side, which is easy, but you don't have rest rows. And I rather have all the work done on the right side row and then just zoom across on the wrong side row. That would speed things up so much. So if I'm going to knit this again, which I probably will, if I still feel like that when I finally have this thing done, but then that's definitely what I will change. I will do all the things on the right side. I don't need it on the wrong side. It's not necessary to create this kind of zigzag pattern. But I just followed the pattern because I just wanted to cast it on so I could take it with me on vacation. So yep, really, really, really loving this. And it's a fun change. It's a nice change from knitting all those socks, and I think it's going to look fabulous. One more close up? Yeah, you want one more close up. I know you want one more close up. Okay, so let me walk you through the colors. Look at those pretty pinks and that bright yellow there. And then you have the pinks with the purple, and then that orange there. Love it. And here that like minty turquoisey blue with that autumnal orange, and then I love this with the mint green and the purple. Yep, happy with it, very, very happy. You will see this again in my next video, I'm sure of it. But like I said, the rows are 500 stitches now, so to knit one color, like one color ridge, it's like 1,000 stitches. The next project that I have is also something completely different. It's something that I shouldn't have started. It's something that I wanted to start for the longest time. And I was so good, and I didn't do it, and I didn't do it, and then I finally caved. That is a Coziest Memories blanket. Yee! Yep, this is going to be a blanket out of fingering weight. Me knitting a blanket out of fingering weight. We all know how that goes, right? I will be knitting this until I'm like 120 years old. Doesn't matter. I got inspired to do this. Well, you know, when everybody was knitting this, I got inspired to do it. But then I was really good and didn't do it because, you know, I know that this is going to be an everlasting project. But then Vrouwtje from Vrouwtje's Wool Boutique, and she is also has a YouTube channel in Dutch. She has been working on one for quite some time now, and she's showing it every episode, and she is posting pictures of it on Instagram, and it's just beautiful. And I completely copied her. So all credits about this idea go to her. Alright, it's all Vrouwtje's idea, and it's Vrouwtje's fault that I am working on this. No, Vrouwtje, I'm thankful. Dank je. Anyway, so yeah, she came up with the idea of doing this gray border. Well, I'm not sure if she came up with it, but she did it and I saw it at her. So with adding a border in garter stitch around each square to make it more cohesive, because one thing that always put me off with these blankets is if the colors next to each other kind of clash, and I think this gray in between makes sure that that doesn't happen. So for the gray I'm using Drops Noord, which is, it's a sport weight yarn, and it's 45% alpaca, 30% polyamide and 25% wool, and it's 50 grams and 170 meters, so it's sport weight, and it's so beautiful. It's very soft and it has like this halo. Can you see that? I love this yarn. I've used it on numerous projects. I'm knitting it on 3mm needles. These are Eddy Zings. So yeah, I'm not following a pattern. I'm just completely copying Vrouwtje. I do have a different stitch count than hers, but I'm using 45 stitches, and I'm doing 5 garter rows, and I'm doing center double decreases to the corner. The yarns will be all hand dyed, variegated and speckled yarns. I don't want self-striping yarns, and I don't want commercially dyed yarns, and no hand-spun yarns, because as much as I love those in these type of blankets, I feel like they really jump out. So if I were to do it with like self-striping or hand-spun, I would make it into a blanket with just hand-spun or just self-striping or just commercial yarn, because I feel like it just looks so different. And yeah, I prefer hand dyed, speckled and variegated. This one was dyed by Vrouwtje, by herself. I thought that has to be the first square because she's the one who inspired it, so she has to, you know, she gets the honor of being the first square. She dyed this yarn herself and then knit socks out of it, and I got the leftovers when we did a swap, and this one was also in that swap. We did a mini swap, and all the other ones are hand dyed by me, are my own colorways. And this project is living in a project bag by Vrouwtje. Like, she has a tag here. Handmade by Vrouwtje. When we did the swap, she made this project bag for me, and I absolutely love it. So my Vrouwtje inspired project bag is living in a Vrouwtje's Wool Boutique project bag. So I have another fun project on the needles, brand new, and it's just cast on. Like, this is how much I got, but it's a long strip. Like, it's, can you guess what this will be at some point in the very distant future? This is going to be a cardigan. It's going to be the Coziest Kofte, and the Coziest Kofte is an absolutely stunning pattern by Ellie from Skander Knits, and I will put a couple of pictures in here right now. So that is what I am going to knit. I have swatched. Okay, first, the yarn that I'm going to use, that I'm using, is a natural brown and a natural white. This natural brown is stunning. Okay, it's really blowing out, but you can see how much depth this color has. This is from a Dutch sheep, and the sheep breed is Blue Tesselaar, and it's a beautiful wool. It's 100% wool, woolen spun. I got it at purewool.nl, and I have purchased yarn there before, and it's beautiful. It's always beautiful. It's from their own herd, and I love it. It's next to skin friendly. To me, some people might find it prickly, but I can really have this next to my skin. And then the white yarn that I'm using is Swifter. Which is a very similar wool, but just in natural white. It's also really quite skin friendly. I like it. They are 270 meters per 100 grams, so they are around DK weight. And I knitted swatches, lots of swatches, because I want this cardigan to fit. So I swatched, the brown is going to be my main color and the white is going to be my contrast color, but I had to wait for the brown to arrive and I already had the white in stash, so I just started swatching in white because the yarns are so similar, it doesn't make a difference. So this is my first swatch. This is how I mark my needle size. This was a 3.5, this was a 3, and this is 2.5, because there's this garter bump that I used for the half. I got gauge at 3 millimeters for working stockinette. With, yeah, so I'm going to do that with brown, but I swatched in white, and I really like the stitch definition also. So yeah, really happy with it. And then for color work, you have to swatch again, because even if your floats are really long and really loose and you're doing color work perfectly, most people have to go up in needle size to accommodate for working for those strands anyway. So I had to swatch, and this is my swatch in color work. I thought I would get gauge with this size, so that's what I started with, and but measuring it unblocked, I thought, no, that's not going to make that much of a difference when I block it, so I'm going to move up one more needle size. So this was 3.25 and this is 3.5, and I still don't have gauge, so I'm going to undo the bind off and knit in 3.75 and 4 millimeter as well to get gauge. But I used the pattern from the top section to do the color work, and my floats are really great, right? But still gauge is very different, but you can see how stretchy it is. My floats are not too tight or anything. That's just the nature of stranded color work, is that you need bigger needle size to get the same gauge. So I'm working on that, but since I knew my gauge for this one, I could already cast on, and this is going to be the inside hem, the folded hem, and now I can go for the needle size for stockinette and knit a bit and knit the outside. So this is the inside of the cardigan, and then here will be the outside, but I need to finish swatching first before I continue. But I have casted on and knit the first 5 centimeters, which is really nice. That was it for the knitting, but I've also been spinning, and I felt like I didn't spin a lot at all, but when I started gathering my stuff, I have spun quite a bit. I haven't plied anything, so I don't have any finished yarns, but I can show you a couple of full bobbins. That's also fun, right? So let's start out with this. Oh, and let me say that I spin all my singles on my Nano eel wheel, my e-spinner, And I ply everything on my Ashford Kiwi 2, my big treadle wheel. And that's because, well, 100 grams doesn't fit on these little nano bobbins, like a maximum of 50 grams. Maybe 55, but more than that is not going to fit on here, with my spinning at least. So, let me show you the first one. This tiny, this is not full at all. There's around 10 grams of fiber on here. A long time ago, when I purchased yarn from Spin City UK, I got a little bed with it, like really small, like just a thank you, I guess. And it was just around 10 grams, and I finally spun it up. So I'm going to have to take this off, and then I'm going to two-ply it and have a fun little mini skein. Then I also spun some merino silk that I dyed myself. I dyed a bunch of it for the shop, and I had one braid of fiber that I didn't like enough to put in the shop. It didn't have enough of some of the colors, and it had too much white, and I loved it, but it wasn't what I wanted to put in the shop. And it also wasn't a full 100 grams, so I would have to have done some calculations to make it right. So I thought, well, let's make it simple and just keep it for myself. So I spun this, the first bobbin and the second bobbin. And the color that wasn't enough, well, you wouldn't say it if you look at these bobbins, but they didn't have enough green for my liking. But underneath all of this is a big section where the green isn't green but white. And you can see how shiny it is, right? This is 70% merino and 30% silk. And the silk is so soft and shiny, and it's beautiful. I spun these a little bit thicker than what I did last time. So I'm aiming for a more like true fingering weight yarn. I'm still thinking that I'm going to be close to 500 meters, but yeah. This is going to be a two-ply again for socks. And yeah, really like these colors. Really fun, summery kind of colors. And then lastly, I have a spinning work in progress. This is the first bobbin, which is finished, and it's really funny because you can only see a blue and a pink, and you don't see any of the other colors in here, but there's a lot of colors. And oh yeah, you can really see the deep turquoise and purple kind of colors there. Really pretty. And I have the second bobbin right here on the wheel. And here you can really see that there's a lot more colors to it. It's really pretty. So this is all I had left, or so I thought. I was really convinced that this was all that I had left to spin. I texted my friend, look, I'm really close to being done with this spin. Yay! This is all that I have to do, and yay! Yeah, until I just started recording, and you know, I wanted to record this podcast, and I went to grab all the stuff, and then I found this. Well, I'm not close to being done. This is going to be another hour of work, I think. Or maybe 2, but you can really see the colors in here. It's really fun. It's really simple. It's just turquoise and pink and I think a gray, or no, more like a black or navy kind of color. but they blend so nicely together that you get all these different shades. It's more like a gray or purplish kind of color over here. There are some white bits. There's lots of variations in here, and I really like it. I think it's really pretty. I want to spin on this right now. I want to hit the stop recording button and just spin. I'm going to spin later today. Anyway, this wool was from Wonderful Wool on Etsy. She is a UK indie dyer. And this fiber, I had never heard of it before, so I had to look into it a little bit, but it's Shropshire. Shropshire. I'm not English or Scottish or, you know, anything like that. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, so I'm sorry if I messed that up and if it's completely different, but that's what I go with, right? Shropshire. Yeah, 100 grams of Shropshire. It's probably completely wrong and you're all laughing at me, but anyway, so I looked a little bit into this fiber, and it's a sheep breed that has really good fiber for, it doesn't felt easily and it's a bit harder wearing, so it's really excellent fiber to just use as 100% on its own. You don't need any like man-made additives, like you don't need nylon or non-man-made like silk or bamboo or anything to make it stronger. It's strong enough on its own for socks, and I really like that. And it's surprisingly soft. It's a lot softer than I had expected, because usually these types of wool are a bit on the coarse side, but this really isn't. I could use this really, I could, you know, have this next to skin in a shawl or something. It's really not coarse, so I'm surprised. But the staple length is indeed quite long, and it looks a bit thicker. The fibers are a bit thicker, and it's really lovely to spin. I really like this fiber. So yeah, this is going to be another 2-ply for socks. Yay! So yeah, that's all I had to talk to you about today. That was quite a lot, but as I said in the beginning, it's been a long time since I recorded, so I'm a little bit of some calmer waters right now, and I'm not as busy as I was when I was dyeing all those things, all those yarns. So I hope to be back soon, sooner than this time, because it was like 2 months, and that's too long. So I hope to be back in about 2 or 3 weeks ish, something like that. Yeah, one more thing. It's the 8th of November today, and I'm not that much into politics, and I'm not very out there about it, but I wanted to say that I am so relieved that Biden is our new president, and I find it really, I'm really quite shocked. Well, not shocked because it was to be expected, but I find it quite, I don't know the word that I'm looking for. I find it quite distressing, I guess, that so many people, like almost half of the United States, would vote for a dictator, a narcissistic, homophobic, anti-feministic, racist, that is not there for America. He's not there for the people of America. He's just there for himself and other rich folks like himself. And I find it really scary that so many people have the same beliefs apparently as he does, And I find that very distressing. So, but I don't want to end on a note like that. I want to end on a happy note. So the happy note is that I'm really, really happy that Biden became the president, and that the United States now have, for the first time ever, a female vice president, and she's black. How amazing is that? Oh my word, yeah, it's fantastic. And I hope this will bring America some good and the world some good. So yeah, anyway, yeah, until I see you again, I hope you have so much fun with all the knitting you do, and all the spinning and crocheting and crafting and weaving and whatever it is that you do. I hope you enjoy yourself, and I hope that you stay safe. And yeah, and I wanted to thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you liked what you've been seeing, then please hit the subscribe button, because it makes my video show up at more other pages. So and also, if you like my video, so that will attract more people to my channel, which would be really fun. So yeah, okay. Until I see you again.